Yesterday was painful for me. I was visiting someone and it was good and all, but I knew the moment I left I would just be in pain, and that would be because I wasn't doing work. And when I'm just taken away from something I need to be focusing on for the day, it triggers something within me, and it just kind of takes away any sense of comfort I have. So this video is about what to do when you're in pain, and that moment of when all the comfort just drips away, and it's just unpleasant. Like, you have nothing but unpleasant sensations happening in your mind and in your body, and it's kind of to just show you a step-by-step plan of action of what to do, and shed some light on why you're going through this pain. So to keep in mind, when in pain, you should know that time passes and you're not going to be experiencing this pain forever. That's the most powerful part of why pain is worth it. It's because it's not permanent. About a day from now, you're probably going to forget that you were in pain a day ago, and you're probably not going to care. In fact, you might even be grateful for it because it pushed you past some kind of limit, and now you've achieved what you were failing to achieve beforehand. So know that time passes, and you can watch my video, Time Heals. It pretty much goes into how time is like the one thing that's going to push clarity into the situation for you. So just know that time will go, whether you like it or not, whether you try to force it to or not, it will go, and the pain will subside. Second thing to note is that pain agonizes you and it blurs your clarity in the moment. Your perception is compromised. You lose awareness in the situation, and you lose touch with the reality around you in some way. That's because you're challenged in a lot of ways by the pain that is pushing you out of your comfort zone, and you can't really afford to focus on every detail in reality. So your mind goes into hyper mode, and it just focuses on withstanding what's in front of you right now, and that is the pain. So know that blurs clarity in the moment, and you need to be prepared for this. You need to be prepared for the fact that your perception is compromised, and that you are incontinent. Well, not incontinent, but you're closer to incontinence than before. You're closer to being like a potato than before, because your mind is getting slightly overwhelmed. And if you keep your composure in this situation, then you're going to keep in basically any situation. You lose a part of your awareness when you're in pain. Just know that, and your perception and association start to drip off. That's why dissociation can happen when you're going through so much pain, that your mind just can't keep up with it anymore, and so you're pushed out of your zone, and it's just a complete mess from there, and you can't get back up from it. And then you bring your attention back to the situation after you've had this realization that your attention has been blurred. It's like meditation. You bring your thought back to your breath. You bring your focus back to what's in front of you, back to your situation. That's good because, again, you're not going to be losing track of what you're supposed to be focusing on. You're going to be putting this pain to actual work. You're going to be using it for something instead of just being a suffering victim about it. And I'm not saying that in a mean light like I usually do. I'm just saying that it's just more useful when you are aware of what you're going through. And of course, this is a vague enough video because I'm not describing what kind of pain. But let's say, for instance, the pain of work, having to do work. Let's say you have to write this 3,000 word blog post, and it's just absolutely killing you. That happened to me as well when I was writing a Google Ads blog post, a complete guide to Google Ads. I just found it to be the most boring, demanding thing ever, and I just didn't want to go through with it at all. But I went through it anyway, and does that pain affect me now? Not at all. It doesn't. It's not. I still don't enjoy the thought of it, but it's not like it's bothering me as it was then. So know that impermanence eases pain. The fact that it's not temporary is going to mean that the pain is going to exponentially decrease. It's just going to go down a load. As long as you can bear it in that first few hours, possibly maybe minutes. As long as you can bear it at those moments, those critical, complete moments, you're going to be able to put it to proper use. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Just be aware of that when you're going through the pain. And I'm going to talk about an anecdote now. An anecdote of mine. When I was in leaving cert, actually no, junior cert, I would be just studying every day. I've been looking forward to when I could just get off for the summer and then have a year free. It would be great. This exam I've been working towards for 3 years would finally be over, and I wouldn't have to study at all. Just be freed. I could just play video games and do exactly what I wanted. That was my light at the end of the tunnel, and the darkness, the tunnel I was in was just the process of studying every day. And of course, studying isn't necessarily a completely horribly heinous piece of pain to go through. I mean, it's not so bad unless you have to do it for like 14 hours a day, but if you're just doing it normally, then it's okay. But the thing was, I had a negative mindset back then, so it balances out. And anyway, my pain was the studying, and the light at the end of the tunnel was the fact that I would be freed after the exams were finished. That was my light at the end of the tunnel, and you need to have yours as well. And I have another light at the end of the tunnel now, but I'm not going to say it, because when you say a goal, it will give you too much dopamine to justify saying it and not actually having done it. So maybe when I'm done it, I'll actually share it, but not now, because now I just don't want to. Like, the one thing I hate is delusional joy and delusional celebration. There's nothing worse than that. There's nothing worse than delusion or deceit. It's not worth it, and I want to make sure I go through my pain before I actually bask in the glory of whatever I'm going to accomplish. And the pain is worth something. That's another thing you need to know. You will grow from this pain, as long as it's not bad kinds of pain, like psychological pain, or well, maybe psychological, but not like traumatic, or like you break an arm or something. That's not good pain. There's also the pain of where like you rip off a large scab off your knee or something. It's not good pain either. Just know, you probably know which kinds of pains are good pains and which kinds are bad pains, but know that most good pains you will grow from them. And there's two ways you benefit from this then. The first and more obvious way is that your threshold is going to be pushed up higher, because you're naturally going to get better at whatever you've been pushing in, and therefore your comfort zone is going to expand, and it's going to be harder. It's going to take longer for you to actually push into an uncomfortable zone. So that's going to be good in terms of pain avoidance solely. But in terms of pain tolerance, this is the second way now will benefit you. In terms of pain tolerance, it will actually increase as well, because the more you go through pain, naturally your pain tolerance improves. It's like, I heard this story a couple of years ago about a guy who took little bits of poison and ingested them into his body, and that he did this month after month, and he just keep doing it so that he wouldn't die to poison. And then one day he was kidnapped, and he was imprisoned in this royal castle or something as a slave, and he attempted to kill himself by taking up a load of poison into a cup and then drinking it all. And you know what? He didn't die. He survived, because he had built up such a large tolerance to pain that, or the poison, that he was able to survive it. And that's the way you can go. If you build up a huge, large tolerance to pain, even the most horrifying event probably won't break you, because you're going to just be able for it. The last thing I want to talk about is gaining the wisdom and judgment from the pain. When you go through a certain amount of pain, you get a level of awareness about you, and you just know more things about the world. It's kind of just a fact, the blissful population who have had peaceful, unchallenged lives, they're not going to be able to withstand that much, because they just haven't been withstanding that much so far. Whereas if you have been, and you've been going through a little bit of suffering, then you're going to be more able to actually take it on, and it might still push you a load, but you're not going to quit from it. you might still like scream from agony, but it's not something that's going to make you quit. Like, I've quit in so many different endeavors. I've quit in Fortnite. I've quit in a ton of video games. I've quit in Minecraft. I've quit in sports. I've quit in what else have I quit in? I quit in academics when I was in primary school. I've quit thousands of times, but from those times I've quit, I've now become the type of person who, if the thing I'm pursuing is meaningful, I won't quit anything ever. Unless, it gets really bad. Obviously I will quit after a certain point, because at no point is even a David Goggins or Elon Musk kind of person gonna not quit. There's no such thing as infinite tolerance to quitting. You just want it to be very high, and you want it to be like how high the tolerance was of our ancestors 3 generations ago, for example, because they were the last strong generation, in my opinion, and they went through a lot. They went through kind of torturous history, like World War II, and they didn't quit. They became strong people, and they built the world back up from where it had collapsed on its face. So yeah, pretty much keep in mind when in pain. Time passes. Your perception is blurred in the moment, but try to keep it together. Bring your thoughts back to the situation. Know that impermanence eases pain, and the fact that it's not temporary is the best thing in the world. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Pain is worth it. You're going to grow from the pain. You're going to have a higher pain threshold, and you're going to have higher comfort zone as well. And most of all, you gain wisdom and judgment from the pain. You become more aware. You see how people act in the world. You just get more of a know-how with things. It's like if, let's say, someone humiliates you in basketball, you're going to get so much more insight and experience from that than if you just beat the crap out of someone in basketball. It's going to be more of a learning experience.